Uganda. And what I'd like him to do now is just share a little bit with us how God spoke to him and how he was told by the Lord to go into the slums and start a church. And so, Jonah, why don't you go ahead and tell us what happened?
Thank you. You know, it's another thing when you hear God's voice. Many people hear and it takes them time to obey. Also, when God told me to go in the slums, I was a bit, hesitant. I didn't very much like to go there because, there in the slums of Kasulu Zone 3 in West Kampala, one, people smoke weed. They do various things. I mean, the drainage system, everything there is, very messed up. So I never wanted to go there. But God continued putting it on me. Finally, I obeyed and I went down there. And it was not easy planting a church in such a place because the place was dominantly Muslim. And the people in authority were Muslims. And they don't like the gospel to be preached in their area. So I had to trust God. And sometimes I remember they could cut down my church because they don't want the church to be there. And my church was papyrus on top, everything. But what I really remember is, as I was there, God gave me an idea. And this was a very special idea. He told me to start educating these Muslim children. And I started, educating these children, giving them the love of Jesus. And story by story, I started gaining favor in the lives of these people. And plus, on top of that, we also had strong prayers because as the place was hard, we had to penetrate it also with prayers, intercessions. Sometimes we could. I remember one time God told me to stay in the church for 1 year. And I sat in the church for 1 year without going somewhere, seated in the church. The only thing I could go just go to the to the toilets, then come back, and I spent 1 year literally in the church, praying, fasting, and trying to break the strongholds of the area. And in that, God started helping us to put the church up to this day. And that entire church has so far produced another 13 churches by now. Sister churches, and through satellite, church planting. And that is how it has really been. And there, we've also evangelized because we do crusades, open air crusades, and door-to-door crusades. And that has been a great tool that has been really changing that area. And I always tell my people that my task is to help them realize their dreams. After they have realized their dreams, develop them in their dreams that which God has given them, and then release them in those dreams. That's my greatest task to these people. And it has been my task. And just of recent, in 2009, God spoke to me something very important I'll never forget. He told me to start educating, to start, bringing senior pastors together and their wives and encouraging them. And I started doing that. And the last meeting we had in the last December, we had over 400 senior leaders that came. We accommodated them. We taught them the word of God. And also, I brought fathers in the faith that could speak into the lives of these men of God. And also I had a good time with the pastor's children because God also told me to bring the pastor's children. And he told me this is one of the untouched worlds. And some people have been saying that the demons that pastors cast out of people, they turn around and go in their children. so I started also dealing with this untouched world. And I tell you, I've seen God encouraging and lifting up pastors' children. And one of my greatest burdens now is to try, because God also told me to help these pastors who are in deep poverty, suffering, to come out of that poverty. Because some of them are working 20, 10 kilometers, 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers to come to their places of work. They don't have cars to drive, some don't have bicycles, and really the Lord is using these people. When you meet with them, you see these are highly anointed men of God. They stand in places we cannot even stand, and they have an undiluted gospel. When you hear them talking about sin, you really feel the presence of God upon these people. And we are doing that. One of the things I've been doing is I started a Send a Pig project with some pastors. So what we do, we try to send a pig to each one of them. And when that pig grows, they also bring back piglet. We are trying to work on that so that these pastors can really, improve on their welfare. And that is what we've been doing to this day.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, now these pastors that he's talking of, many of them live out in the bush or quite a ways away from where he's at. And their kids go without, they don't have school fees, a lot of them don't have clothes, and they can get bitter towards God. And so Jonah has brought these pastors' families, pays their way there, puts them up, feeds them. I don't know how he accomplishes it with 49 of his own, but he does. And this is a big deal. And Say Yes wants to step in and help. So we're going to start putting pastors on our website, where if people are interested, they can come in and support these pastors for whatever they can afford per month. We'd like to have some people sponsor them for $100 a month, if possible. And these men of God stay right there because they're called. And even though their families don't have enough. So this pig project, we'll also have that on a website. You can donate money for a pig also, and help them grow this much faster than what they can do on their own. So these people are not just asking for handouts. They actually start businesses and help widows to start businesses in their church, and begin and mushrooms, and they begin to take care of their own families. So it's not just giving fish, it's teaching somebody how to fish. That's what they're doing. So your money, 100% of it goes to Africa. Join. I never take anything for Say Yes. So we'll come back on the last segment and with some finishing touches, and allow Jonah to share what's on his heart. Thank you.